Welcome to the final round of the FF1M Championship 2006, round 17 at Interlagos, Brazil. To review the championship, Nico Rosberg for FGR is 12 points ahead of second place Tonio Liuzzi for Shannon. If Liuzzi wins the race and Rosberg doesn't score, then Liuzzi will win the championship on the virtue of having more second places than Rosberg. Schumacher Michael starts on pole position in what is actually his last race of his career. Rosberg is second ahead of Liuzzi, Alonso, Scott Speed and Mark Webber. So the red lights are on and the races go! Schumacher gets away well. Liuzzi looks to have had a good start, but it looks like it's Michael Schumacher that's going to lead into turn one. No, Liuzzi's had a terrible start. He's down to 7th. Schumacher leads, Rosberg second, Alonso third, Jarni up into 4th. Great start from Neil Jarni. In fact, there he is, challenging Alonso for 3rd into the Descida de Lago corner. He can't quite do it there, and Scott Speed and Jenson Button are closing behind. Liuzzi's had an awful start. Where's he gone? He's not even in the top 8. But Michael Schumacher leads. We're looking at Rosberg there. The Constructors' Championship's up for grabs as well. In fact, here we are on board with Liuzzi. What happens to him? Gets a brilliant getaway, but it just gets held up by Schumacher. And there he's lost a position to Alonso, and then Speed. Now what happens? He goes round. He's on the outside of turn 3, and that's Mark Webber. Through up into 7th. And is he going to challenge back into turn 4? No, he's not. In fact, he got overtaken by Trulli there, so he's down to 9th. Awful start for Tonio Liuzzi, and it's looking good for Rosberg for the championship. Michael Schumacher leads, having just set fastest lap at the first lap. And there's Hamilton. He's had a pretty bad start. He started in 9th, I think. I won't double check that, but Glock down in 14th as well, challenging Robert Kubica for 13th. And through up into 13th, and that was a poor exit from Kubica. Looked like he could get challenged by the Mitchell. And Schumacher, he's flying to set the new fastest lap. And here's Liuzzi challenging Trulli for 8th place into turn 1. There he goes. Still, he needs a really good race. And Bourdais up to 9th past Trulli. And still Liuzzi needs a cracking race if he's going to beat Rosberg, and a lot of luck. Genet overtaking Kovalainen for 18th. And here's Liuzzi on the charge again, challenging Webber for 7th. Into turn 1, and he's done it. Schumacher leads by 2.7 seconds from Rosberg, who is also 2.7 ahead of Alonso. And now Bourdais going to challenge Webber for 8th. That was a very close gap, but Webber holds on around the outside. Lap 11, Trulli passing Webber for 10th place, Bourdais having overtaken him. And so too has Lewis Hamilton. He's on a bit of a charge, and out goes Vettel on lap 12. Looked like he banged into the barrier there, but it's obviously a technical problem. Suspension, we're hearing. We get the information very quickly as to what's wrong with each car and driver, and Jarno Trulli's engine's blown up. A BMW engine failure, that is very unusual. Now we're in the middle of the pit stops, and Barrichello is up to 7th, but I think he's pitting. Oh, he's Trulli holding up Webber there. And yes, Barrichello into the pits. Rosberg in 2nd place on lap 41. And looking good for the championship. He's just coming up to some back markers now. approaching a dark wolf. Michael Schumacher still leads. And Liuzzi down in 6th place, 42 seconds behind. And Rosberg, which is trying to go around the outside of Genet there. And he's done that. And Genet getting a poor run. And in fact, that's Alonso coming up behind for third place to Alonso. He's catching Rosberg. This could change a few things a bit. Possibly. Schumacher 23 seconds ahead of Rosberg and looking set for his final victory in his final race. And there's Liuzzi in 6th place, catching his teammate for 5th. If anything has cost Liuzzi the championship, it will have been the race start. Because he was just at the wrong position and he's got mullered by the pack. There's Schumacher in the lead. He's had a long, illustrious career. This is his 3rd appearance for FJR, and into the pits comes Michael Schumacher for what is his, I believe, 2nd stop. But Michael's had a long career that started off at LG Aquino, his most successful stint. He's had more than one stint with Aquino Plus in between 1988 and 1997. He scored Aquino's last victory at the Luxembourg race. And then he nearly won a championship for FJR twice. He came very close in 2000, but his suspension broke just as he was on the way to winning. And 2001, well, it was a long shot for the championship, but he helped FJR to their first ever constructors, and Michael rejoining behind Alonso there, but he's had such a big lead. It looks like he'll regain it at the end. There's Liuzzi pits. Or what could have been Shannon's first ever championship. It's still possible that Shannon can win the constructors. Of course, it's still possible he can win the drivers, but it's looking increasingly unlikely as we see Hamilton having a look at 7th place Neil Yarney. He thought about it into turn 1, but he wasn't quite close enough. Now, is he close enough into Ferradura? This will be a good move to pull off. Down the inside. Ooh, that was close. But it looks like Hamilton is the faster car here. Hamilton has a contract for Shake and Bake for next season, effectively swapping places with Robert Kubica. In fact, now Hamilton coming under pressure from Mark Webber. And Webber down into turn 1, look at this! Up into 7th place, 6th place goes Mark Webber. The pit stops having been shaken out. So now Schumacher's in the lead. This is 4 laps to go and Hamilton still can't get past Webber. Well, all the pit stops have been made now and Hamilton's behind Webber. But he ran particularly wide at turn 4 and that gives Webber a bit of breathing space, but Hamilton's catching quickly back up to him. There's only a few laps to go and FJR look good for both championships. Now is Hamilton close enough to challenge Webber into turn 1? This is for 9th place. Could be 8th place if the car in front retires. But there's only 3 laps remaining, so they are running out of time. And Hamilton doesn't look like he's close enough to make a move at the moment. He seems to be quicker through the corners than Webber, but Mercedes is a powerful engine, quite considerably more powerful than the Cosworth in the Guy racing. But of course Hamilton, fresh from his GP2 championship win, has the ability, and he looks close enough here as they approach 2 laps to go, lap 70. Oh, he's very close now. Thought about the move into right at the left kink, but Webber defending very aggressively. That was a couple of moves there, which of course is not allowed in real F1, but FF1M is possibly allowed. He's in the slipstream. It doesn't look close enough. But Webber still feeling the need to go a little bit defensive. Now this is a very good run out of there. He's already overtaken, well, tried to overtake Yanni into the Ferradura, but just not quite close enough. We are focusing on this battle because, well, it's the only battle left on the track. The gaps between the cars in front are just too big. But it could be an important battle if one of the cars in front retires. But Michael Schumacher onto his last lap. Now of course Webber and Hamilton are both a lap down, so this is their last lap. Oh, that was close up the inside, but there was not a lot of room there. Hamilton could not just quite overtake, and it just doesn't look close enough again. This is the final lap, and Michael Schumacher looks to be on the way to a perfect send-off to his long career in FF1M, and Rosberg looks to be on course for the championship, as do FJR for the constructors. And it just doesn't look like Hamilton can get past, but of course if any of the cars in front do retire once Bourdais starts his last lap, then that's it. These two are just battling for 9th. And here is Michael Schumacher crossing the line to win his last FF1M race for FJR. And that means to say that Rosberg has won the World Championship by finishing 2nd. FJR also win the Constructors with an emphatic 1-2. Alonso finished 3rd, Yanni, Speed, Liuzzi, Button and Bourdais complete the top 8. And there it is, Rosberg, World Champion by 17 points from Liuzzi. Bourdais hangs on to 3rd. And Fernando Alonso 4th. And there is the Constructors, 25 points the gap in the end. FJR win it from 7 wins and 25 points. So that's it from James Brickles. Michael Schumacher wins his last ever F1M race. A perfect send-off.